Hello, and welcome to part 5 of this series that we've been going through called Building a Website in Progressive Steps. If you have not done so already, go ahead and go through part 1, 2, 3, and 4 before you look at this one. If you have already done that, welcome to part 5. We're going to be discussing the blog page, and then I will tell you what we'll be doing in our next tutorial. So I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll see you for the next one. Alright, now let's take that out and let's open up the blog. And some of this is going to be similar to the About page. We're going to grab the text tool and write blog with left sidebar. Change the font to Verdana. Make it 24 pixels. Oh, that's too big. 24 pixels. And the color stays the same, and go ahead and make it bold. Alright. Go ahead and grab it and put it in the center as best as you can. And then, again, hold Control and pick the title, align vertical centers, and we'll put it in the center. Alright. Go ahead and create a new group. We forgot to do this, and call it title. Put the title inside of it. Okay, select blog, and we will go ahead and actually open up the About page here. We'll grab the About, the Home About. Okay, and we will hold Alt and copy it inside of the blog. And now we're going to add some more intro text here, and we're going to say, actually, you know what? Instead of doing that, we will save some time by just going into the title here, okay, and holding down Alt again and putting it inside of the title here. And go ahead and get rid of that layer. Alright, so that was pretty easy and quickly done. So the next thing we will do is go ahead and close that here and create a new group, and let's call it sidebar. This time we're going to put the sidebar on the left hand side, and it shows the difference between having a sidebar on the right hand side, such as here, and putting a sidebar over here on the left hand side with the content on the right. Having a sidebar on the left hand side helps users whenever your information is not particularly as important as trying to get your users to go to different areas of your website. So having a sidebar on the left hand side helps with that easier navigation. Okay, so let's take out that again. Alright, and we have sidebar. So let's go ahead and grab our type tool and write out left sidebar archives. We're going to put our archives here on the left hand side. Move it over, and we will need to change the, sorry about that. We need to change the text to Tahoma. Make it regular size with a font size of 14. And that should be it for that. Now let's go ahead and open this up, and let's go ahead and grab one of our separators here. There's one. Alright. Hold down Alt, click, and drag, and put it inside of the sidebar here. Alright. Close that, close the About, and move the separator underneath the left sidebar archives. Just like so. Let's take this and move it farther over. That's good. Alright, now let's go ahead and create us a link for our sidebar archives, and it'll be October 2011. Double click it and change the color, and the color is going to be 6BB2FB. Oh, not 6BB, 6DD. There we go. Alright. And give it an underline. Make it 12 points. And that should be good. You go ahead and move it underneath the separator here. Try to create some even space. Now let's just go ahead and hold down Shift and select the last layer here. Hold down Alt, click, and drag 1, 2 times. Alright. Now let's grab this here and say latest posts, and then say your first blog post. Next thing is going to be related posts, and then is going to be again your first blog post. Alright, now let's go ahead and go back to our About, find the sidebar, and let's look for there's the search. Hold Shift, select it all, hold down Alt, click, and drag all the way up to the top and put it inside of the sidebar here. Now go back down to your About page, hide that, go back up and move the search over to the bottom of our left sidebar here. And now it's more even. Okay, let's go back into it again, the About, and let's grab our separator, our main separator, hold down Alt, click and drag all the way to the top and put it inside of the sidebar. Hide the About and move separator about there. We're going to make it a little bit longer, about there, and that should be good. Move it over just a little bit more. Okay, good deal.
So go ahead and close the sidebar here. Now the article here for the blog is going to be a bit different than we have in the About. So we're not going to be copying and pasting like we did for the sidebar. We did that so that we could save a little bit of time. So go ahead and create a new group, and we're going to call this group Post. All right. Now go ahead and grab your type tool and try to line it up with the top of left sidebar archives and call it your first blog post. Double click it, go ahead and make it bold, and we'll change the font to Verdana and change the size to 18 points. Alright, and just move it just a little bit more where it looks a little bit more even. Alright. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is add our information for the post. So let's go ahead and do that now by grabbing the type tool and writing out something like posted October 1st, 2011 by admin, and the blog category, and it has 1 comments. Alright, so double click that. It's going to stay at Verdana. We're going to change the size to 12, and we'll make it regular size. And let's go ahead and change it one by one like so. We're going to change the color of the non-link portion to B8, B6, B6. Alright, and then like October 1st, 2011 is going to be a link, so we'll change that to $6DD2FB. Alright, and let's just go ahead and do it for the rest. So grab that, and you can go ahead and just select that, press Ctrl+C to copy, and then change the coloring for all of the non-link portions. And go ahead and do the same for the links. So Ctrl+C to copy, and then change the color of the links. All right. Go ahead and press Ctrl+S to save. Okay, so the next thing we want to do here is go ahead and create our separators, which will go in between the post information. So let's go ahead and just move that a little bit, and then grab your line tool, hold down Shift, and drag it all the way to the end of your blog information, just like so. Okay, go ahead and bring up the effects, and let's create a drop shadow, and the drop shadow is going to actually be white, and then the opacity will be 100. Take off the global lighting, make the angle -90, spread will be 0, and the size will be 0 as well. And then let's create an inner glow. And the inner glow will also have an opacity of 100. The choke will be 1, the size will be 1, and everything here will remain the same. So let's go ahead and create a stroke. Everything for the stroke is going to remain the same except for the position will be center, and then the color, we will change that. The color is actually going to be white. Okay. And there you have our first separator for the blog information. Alright, so go ahead and grab the separator and hold down Alt, click and drag to copy it. Alright, let's try to create some even spacing for our separators against the blog post information. There we go. Hold down Control and select both. And let's create some spacing between the title and blog information. Oh. Okay, we need to grab this as well. Alright, now we can create some space. And that should be good right there. Okay, so next let's go ahead and add our picture, which will go inside of all of our blog posts. So select place and grab your picture here. And we want the picture to be about 229 pixels in height. So let's make that about 220, make it 234 is fine. And then we want it to be about 673 in width. So let's find there we go, 673. Let's go ahead and grab it and put it directly underneath the title. Just like that. Go ahead and press Control S to save. Okay, now right click on the image layer and select blending options. Go ahead and create a drop shadow and make the opacity 100 with the angle, well, take out the global lighting and then make the angle 90 degrees. The distance will be 0, spread 0, and the size will be 3. Next thing is go ahead and create a stroke. And everything here for the stroke will remain the same except for we will change the color, and I believe the color is going to be white. And there you go. That'll be it for the picture. Go ahead and press Control S again to save. Now that we have our image together for our blog post, let's go ahead and grab some Lorem Ipsum text. So our Lorem Ipsum is going to be this part here. Grab the type tool. Go ahead and place it there. Control V to place the text. Let's go ahead and double click on the text, and everything here will remain the same except for the color, and we want to change the color to 464646. And now let's create some line breaks just like we did on the About page. So hold down Shift and Enter. And again, hold down Shift and Enter. And that'll be it for that. And let's go ahead and move the text even with the image as best as you can get it, with some spacing or padding actually in between the image and the text. And that should be good. Let's do it one more time. Go ahead and grab some lorem ipsum. Grab your type tool, place it, Control V, and then let's create some line breaks. So Shift and Enter. Shift and Enter. Shift and Enter. Shift and Enter. And Shift and Enter. Alright. And this right here should be pretty good. And that'll work. Good deal. Alright, now that we have the text inserted for our blog post, we want to go ahead and add some information to our blog post, and we also want to make it easy for users to share the blog post with their friends. So let's go ahead and create a new group, and let's call it Share. And with this, let's go ahead and grab the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle that is about 683 in width and 54 pixels in height. That should be good right there. Go ahead and grab the move tool and even it up with our text. Alright, and that should be good. Go ahead and select the effects, open up the effects, and let's set up a drop shadow for the effects, which the drop shadow is going to have a color of AEADAD. The opacity is going to be 100. We're going to change the angle to 90. Change the spread to 1 and the distance to 3. Okay, now set up an inner glow here where everything is going to remain the same except for we want to give it a 100% choke. Go ahead and take off the stroke, and that'll be it for the background of our share. Now that you have that, let's go ahead and grab the type tool. Now let's go ahead and write out share this post. Make the font Tahoma. Go ahead and make it bold and set the font size to 18. That should be good. Oh, we forgot to change the color, didn't we? So let's go ahead and change the color, and it's going to be 372B14. Grab the move tool and go ahead and place it inside of the background here. We want to center this background, and so Control, Select, Align Vertical Centers. And there, you should be a master at that by now. Grab the share this post, and let's, oh, that was the wrong one. Let's grab share this post, and let's bring it over a little bit more so that we can create some padding from the left-hand side. And actually, the background is a little too dark, so we want to change that. We want to change the background color. So let's go ahead and change the background color to F0 EE. And that looks much better. Okay, so now that we were able to change the color of that background, which of course looks much better, let's go ahead and add a separator in between. Let's go ahead and add a separator behind share this post. So let's do that by grabbing our line tool and holding down Shift, creating a line about that big. Let's go ahead and open up the effects here. And with the effects, we're going to get rid of everything that's here except for the drop shadow. And we want to create a drop shadow that has a color of white, just like that. Get rid of the global lighting, and we want to give make the angle 180 degrees with everything else here remaining the same. Let's take a look at it here, and that's the way that we want it to look. So go ahead and select it, and let's see if we can just kind of create some even spacing after the share this post. Just about the same as before share this post. Now if you want to, you can always, you don't have to eyeball it, you can go ahead and just grab the marquee tool and kind of look at the info box and do this, right, and see how wide it is. So it's 31 pixels. So we just look over here and then we pull it out till it's about 31 pixels, about right there. So and then we do that, and then we just go ahead and move it over to the 31 pixels, just like so. But you don't have to do it that way. It's a way that a lot of people do it. But I kind of like to eyeball it. But if you're not experienced enough to eyeball it, then go ahead and just use that technique. All right. So there should be some icons in your in the folder, in the files that you downloaded, in the source files. So go ahead and grab those social icons. I'm going to grab mine. So go ahead and click place, and mine is actually on my desktop. Alright, so the first one I'm going to grab is the stumble upon here. Alright, and I'm going to move it to about right there, and I want my square to be about the same on top and bottom. Alright, so I'm going to move it about there, and then I'll just go ahead and grab the rest of the social icons. But actually I want there to be the same amount of space between share this post in the separator and the social icon in the separator. So I'll just use my left arrow and try to create the same amount of spacing. That looks pretty good. Actually, that might be too much, so just one more over to the right, and I'll go ahead and grab the rest of them here. So the next one is going to be Twitter. Go ahead and move the Twitter down, and just create some spacing, press enter. And then the next one is going to be Facebook. Press enter. And then the next one is going to be LinkedIn. And press enter. Alright. Now these are a little bit far apart, so I'm just going to grab them and use my left arrow key and move them over a little bit. I will deselect that one, move them over a little bit, and then deselect that one and move it over. Go ahead and select all of them, and then I will distribute the horizontal centers here. So distribute horizontal centers so they're spaced evenly. And I will do align vertical centers so I can make sure that they are even. And that's all there is for the share this post section. It's pretty easy. You know, your user reads the post here, they like it, they go ahead and click it, and click one of the social links here and share the post. Okay. Go ahead and close share. Alright, and let's create a new group. We're going to call this new group author. Okay, on any blog, it's always a good idea to have a author section, especially if you're going to have guest contributors. You want to let people know who's writing the article. So grab your rectangle tool, all right, and let's draw a rectangle that's about 683 by 157. About 156, we'll do that, that's fine. All right. We'll move it over and try to even it up with the share this post. Change the color of the background here, and let's change it to the same as F0EEEE. Alright, and let's go ahead and grab the effects, set up a drop shadow, and the drop shadow here is actually pretty much going to be the same, except for we want the spread to be 1, the size to be 3, the angle to be 90, and the color, we want to change that to AEADAD. Alright, now let's go ahead and set up an inner glow. The inner glow here is going to have a choke of 100% and everything else is going to remain the same. So go ahead and click OK. And now we have our background for the author section. Press Ctrl S to save. Now we're going to have a picture for our author. So to create the area for the picture, go ahead and grab your rectangle tool again. And draw a rectangle, hold down Shift so your dimensions are even, and draw a rectangle that's about 93 by 93. So just like that. Alright, and let's put the rectangle in the middle. So go ahead and hold down Control and select the background and align vertical centers. Put it in the middle. Alright, let's go ahead and find out what this color is. It's F0EEE. Control C to select. And let's change the color of this to the same color as that. But the difference is, the way this is going to stand out is we're going to change the effects just a little bit. So go ahead and open up the effects here and select drop shadow. Okay, and the drop shadow here is actually going to be black. 100%. The angle is going to be 90 degrees. With a distance of 0, spread of 0, and a size of 3. Next thing, let's go ahead and create a stroke. A stroke here, everything is going to be the same except for the position is going to be outside, and that is how it stands out just a little bit. That way it's not intruding on our design, but it is still noticeable. Alright, now the next thing we want to add is a placeholder for our author. So let's do that by creating custom shape or choosing custom shape, and let's go ahead and grab a guy. Where is our guy? There's our guy. Alright, now we have our guy. Hold down Shift so we can get the right proportions. And we'll just create our guy just like so. And that'll be fun. Arrow keys to put him in the middle as much as possible. And, oh, well, yeah, that should be good right there. The colors for our guy is going to be D9, D6, D6. And he's not going to have any effects. And that's it for our guy. Next thing we want to do is add the title for our author. So grab your type tool and go ahead and write in about the author. Double click it so that we can change the information for the text. And we're going to leave everything here the same except for change the color. And the color is going to be 372B14. Go ahead and grab your move tool and let's move it in line with the author image. Press Ctrl S to save. Next thing, grab your type tool again and let's go ahead and write out some information about the author. So we're going to put author, and then we will go ahead and grab some lorem ipsum here. So grab about that much and go ahead and paste it in. Alright, and the color of this text here is going to change to 7E, 7D, 7D. It's going to go to regular. We want to set it to Verdana, and the size we'll set to 12 points. Now for the author here, for the name of the author, we'll go ahead and make it bold. Let it stand out just a little bit. Alright, now we want to create some line breaks, just like we have before. So let's go ahead and do that. So hold down Shift and Enter. Shift and Enter. And Shift and Enter. I have a simple solution for this. Let's just go ahead and select the text. Shift Enter. Bring that back. Shift Enter. Bring that back. And then Shift Enter and bring that back. And that looks just fine right there. Alright, and now let's just make the background just a little bit taller so that we can create some even padding between the top and the bottom. So press Ctrl T. And then let's just pull it down a little bit. That looks good. Press Ctrl S to save, and we'll move on to our next area. Go ahead and close author, the author group. And let's create a new group and call the new group, we'll call it comments. Okay, for our new group, first thing we want to do is grab our type tool and we'll go ahead and just type in 1 comments. Double click it and everything here will remain the same except for change the font size to 14 and we'll change the font color to 372 B14. That should be good. Let's go ahead and grab our 1 comment and move it down some here because we need a stroke actually. So go ahead and grab your line tool here. Start about right here, hold down Shift and drag out a line all the way across to the edge of our ruler. About like that. Let's change the effects. Set up a drop shadow and it's going to be minus 90 degrees 100, so that's all going to stay the same. And then go ahead and create an inner glow, and the inner glow here, everything is going to remain the same as well. create a stroke, and for the stroke, everything here as well is going to remain the same. So after doing that, go ahead and press OK, and you have your nice new separator. Go ahead and move the separator as you see fit to create some padding. Move that over so that it's even with the side of our share this post and about the author backgrounds. Alright, so now that we have that taken care of, let's go ahead and create the picture of the avatar of the person that makes the comment, or gravatar. Let's grab a rectangle. Create that rectangle that is 57 by 57. Okay, that's fine. Now let's make the fill 0%. Let's open up the effects. Set up a drop shadow. Drop shadow is going to be black. The angle is going to be 90 degrees. A distance of 0, a spread of 0, and a size of 3. Now let's set up a stroke. The stroke is here is all going to remain the same. Alright. Stroke actually might be, yeah, the stroke actually needed to go on the outside here, and that looks much better. Alright, now we have the stroke. Let's go ahead and grab our custom shape tool and grab our little guy here, which we already have. Hold down shift so you can keep the dimensions, and just drag this guy out. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Alright, now let's just move him over to the middle as much as we can. That's pretty good there. And take off the effects, because he's not going to have any effects. And we want to go ahead and change the color. The color is going to be D9, D6, D6. Okay, now that we have the color of our avatar, let's go ahead and add the info for the person that's making the comment. So go ahead and grab your type tool, and we'll just type in something like by admin. Take out the caps lock. By admin on October 1st, 2011. Okay, and we'll double click it, and we're going to make the font size 10 points. Alright, now let's go ahead and just change the color here for the non-links and for the links. So for the non-links, it's going to be B8, B6, B6. Alright, let's go ahead and copy that and put it on here. And now for the links, the color is going to be 6DD 2FD. Sorry, need to copy that again. And we'll go ahead and make October 1st, 2011 the same color, since it's going to be a link. Alright, now that we have that, let's go ahead and grab our move tool. And let's move it as symmetrical as we can and give it some padding. Alright, so the next thing after we have completed that, we need to go ahead and create the background. So grab your rectangle tool and create a background that's about 605 by 138. So we'll create a background about 605 by 137 is good. Alright, now let's change the color for that. And the color is going to be F0 EE. Fill needs to go back to 100%, and we will go ahead and set up some effects here. So the drop shadow here is going to be AEDAD. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. AEADAD. And the angle is 90 degrees. We have a distance of 1, a spread of 1, and a size of 3. Now let's go ahead and set up the inner glow. The inner glow is going to pretty much all be the same, except for the choke is going to be 100%. And that's it. Go ahead and take out the stroke, press OK, and you're done with the background there. Alright, now we have a nice background. So let's go ahead and add some dummy text into here. So grab your text tool, place it inside of the background here, and let's go grab some dummy text. Press Ctrl C to copy it and paste it inside of the background here. Let's go ahead and create our line breaks. Create them exactly where I am putting them. Shift Enter and Shift Enter. Alright. Double click it. Change the color of the text here. And the color, I believe, is going to be 7E. 7D. Alright. And the font size is going to be 12. And everything else is pretty much all going to stay the same. So, there you go. Now let's just use our arrow key to create some padding on the top and left hand sides of the background box here, and make it as even as we possibly can. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think we should go ahead and grab everything that we have here. So we have here, and by admin, and move it over just enough so that it's against our ruler. Press Ctrl S to save, and now you've saved it, so let's go ahead and add our reply button. So just grab your text tool and put in reply. And that's all there is to that. And we'll make it 10 points. And since it's going to be a link, we're going to go ahead and grab our link color, which this time is going to be 80D8FC. Pretty much all the same. Alright, let's grab our move tool and let's move it over here to the corner. Just making sure that there's the same amount of padding on the right hand side between reply and the edge of the background here, just as it is on the left hand side. So on the right here and on the left between here. And again, you can use the marquee tool if you want it to be exact. But like I said, I like to eyeball it, and also it makes work a little bit faster doing it that way. Okay, now we have our comment box here, so go ahead and close the comments group, and we're going to create a new group. This will be our last group, and call it write comment. we're going to go ahead and create our form. Go ahead and grab your type tool, and we want it up against the left edge here, right here, and put in name, and then we'll put an asterisk because it is required. Go ahead and press enter. Alright, now we're going to change the color here, and the color of the text is actually going to be 372 B14. Alright, and now the asterisk is actually going to be a different color. Okay, and let's go ahead and select that, and the color of that is going to be EF3C19. Okay, now let's go ahead and double click on that again, and we want to keep it Verdana. Let's change it to 14 pixels and make it bold. And that should be all you need right there. Now let's go ahead and copy this about 3 times. So to do that, let's grab our move tool, hold down Alt, click and drag 1, 2, 3. Alright. And we want to change the second one here to email. Oh, we don't want to do that. We don't want to get rid of that. We want to save some time here. So let's put an email, and then the next one will be website, which isn't required, and the next one will be message, which also isn't required, but obviously people are most likely going to leave one. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this one more time. Okay, we're going to hold down Alt and copy it and bring it up. We're going to change this to, we're going to all caps, we're going to change this to leave a reply. We're going to double click it, and we're going to make it a regular size. Okay. The message, we spelled that wrong. We need to add another S on that. Now let's try to take our name here and try to line it up with the edge as much as we can for now. So let's line that one up. Let's line up the website here. And let's go ahead and line up the message. Okay, now Shift, select them all. Okay. And what we're going to do here is distribute vertical centers. And now everything is centered here. And then we're going to also align left edges. So everything is perfectly aligned the way it should be. Let's go ahead and select them all again and create some padding between leave a reply title and the names here. Okay. Once that is done, the next thing we need to do is create our input box. So select your rectangle tool and draw a rectangle that is about 326 by 18. So it's going to be 326 by 18. That should be good right there. Alright. Okay. And we need to change the color of this to white. We're going to change it to white. And then we're going to set up a stroke on here. So go ahead and take off these two effects and set up a stroke. The stroke here, the color of it is going to be E0 DDE0. Alright? Okay. Everything here is going to stay the same except for we're going to put the position of the stroke on the outside. And that'll be it for the input box. So let's go ahead and grab the input box here. And let's create a little bit more space away from the text name. And kind of put it in the center there. If you want, you can go ahead and hold down Control, select the name, and do align vertical centers, and then that way you're in the center there. I did something here, so we're going to do Control D and get out of that. Okay, now that we have that, we want to go ahead and copy the input box here for the rest of them. So hold down Alt, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Alright, now let's put these in the center as much as we can, line them up as much as we can. Okay, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. And for this last one here, we actually want this one to span across the entire page. And we want to make it longer, obviously, because it's going to be a message. So let's just go ahead and make it longer. Just like that. There we go. That'll work. Press Control S to save, and you should be good to go. The last thing we're going to be working on is our button. So let's go ahead and create our button now. Grab the rectangle tool, or the rounded rectangle tool I should say, okay, and then draw a rectangle that's 93 by 29. And that'll be good right there. Alright, now let's change the color of this rounded rectangle here. And the color is going to be 00B4FF. And then we want to set up a few effects here. So our effects are going to be to take off the stroke, first of all. Create a drop shadow. The drop shadow is going to have a color of B9, C1, and it's going to be 1 pixel in distance, a 0% spread, and a 1 pixel size. After that, let's set up our inner glow here. And the inner glow is actually going to be 75% opacity, with a 0% stroke and a 2 pixel size with a 1% range. And that'll be it. Alright, let's go ahead and grab your type tool and we'll just type up the words submit. Grab your move tool, go ahead and put it in the middle of the button here as much as you can, and then change the color of the text here to white. After that, just set it up as bold with the same text and everything the way it is set up here. Alright? Okay, good deal. Now that we have all of these put together, go ahead and close your groups, close your post, close your blog. Press Control S to go ahead and save it. And now we have a home page. We have an about page. And then we also have a blog post page.
Now the About page, we have our title on the top here. And we also have a little bit of introduction text on the right hand side, which is good for introducing the page to its users, to your users, might pique their interest and get them to keep reading. Then you have a little text on the left hand side, and on the left hand side is a good place for your users to read, because naturally people read left to right, and it's just easier to get to, and that way the sidebar is actually out of the way if that is actually the goal, to make content priority number one. So put the sidebar on the right hand side here. Okay, and then we have a blog where the sidebar is actually on the left hand side. Now the only good reason for putting a sidebar on the left hand side is if your content on the right hand side isn't really as important as showing links to various posts, because it does kind of intrude with the sidebar on the left. It kind of intrudes a little bit on the content here that's on the right hand side. So I would always recommend to put your sidebar on the right and put your content on the left, unless, like I said, the content isn't as important, and what you're trying to do is lead people to different parts of your website. And to ultimately, I would say that putting the sidebar on the left hand side is probably best for products, but anything other than that, go ahead and put it on the right. We have a share this post option so that people can easily read the post and share it on any of their social networks. Then we have an about the author area where we can talk about whoever it was that wrote the post. Then we had the admin write a little comment here about the post and tell us what he thinks about it, and he thinks lorem ipsum, so must not have a whole lot to say. And then we have our area where you can write a comment, or comment form. So, and the submit button, actually, maybe we should have done that a little bit better. So let's open the post here and write comment, and let's go ahead and grab the submit control, and let's go ahead and just add some padding there and align it the way it should be. And there we go. That's aligned the way it should be. All right. Now, when you actually make the page, we're going to have we'll have space in between here. But for now, for this is fine. And so that's the page. And in the next tutorial, we will continue on with creating the contact page. And then we'll also go into, if we have time, we'll go into coding. Otherwise, that'll be saved for the following tutorial after that. So, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and we will see you next time.